Yeah, sorry about the delay.
That's okay, man. No worries.
I have discovered that maple syrup flavored scrapple buttered toast for breakfast, followed by heavily buttered popcorn and a double quarter mount pounder meal with cheese and bacon, large fries, large soda, and a blueberry pie with Hershey's Kisses
I know the feeling when I
is
was
the
eating fried. Yeah.
worst fucking combination.
Dude, when I was in Michigan and just eating fried chicken, it was like every morning I was like, God, why?
God, I mean, I'm telling you, like, I don't know why I do this to myself, but it was delicious going in, I'll say that.
Yep. And then it forces you to do like a 24-hour fast just to deal
Jesus
with the
God.
fucking gut issues. I know that feeling, man. It's like, okay, I'm not eating for a whole goddamn day. I need a
No.
break from the
Maybe a
binge.
whole maybe a whole fucking week. Okay.
My God, is good. Okay.
Any boogers? No. Okay. Hello. What? Hold on. I'm sorry. I have to blow my nose. Oh, I should have put myself on mute. I'm sorry.
It sounded like a fart. It sounded like you were only gonna fart and it kind of squills out.
Maybe that's what I was really doing. You don't know.
Hey, you wanna watch some TV or something?
Skip it. Well, I'm getting ready to watch a video.
Really? What?
Nothing but foul language and toilet humor.
I'm disgusted and repulsed and I can't look away.
I need these things! I need these things! Tell me, do you wanna go? We're stopping on the color line.
Oh, no way, Jose.
This just in, go to hell!
This conversation can serve no purpose anymore.
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
Hello, friends and listeners. You're ready for you've got, oh my God. Please take two. Here we go. Hello, friends and listeners. You've got Watch Skip Plus. We cannot stop laughing. This is crazy. You've got Watch Skip Plus. We're a movie review podcast with a lifestyle twist. That twist is that after we review a new streaming or theatrical film, we will also give you a bonus review. So last week, I talked about a cooling comforter, which is amazing, although summer is ending. And then Mike talked about The Naked Gun, which I still haven't gotten to see. There's all these movies are back to back now, and I feel like I can't. You know what I mean? I can't see them. Like I
Yeah.
haven't seen Freakier Friday yet, and I'm a huge Lindsay Lohan stan. So my name is Jose, also known as Cupcake, or maybe today Chucky. I don't know. And I'm joined by my co-host Mike, the WillDaBeast. Mike, how are you doing?
Doing good. And I'm supporting our guy Jason today.
Oh yeah.
What does that mean? Whenever there's a horror shirts coming out, what does that mean we're reviewing?
It means we're reviewing a horror film. So we are reviewing Zach Cregger's Weapons, the much anticipated follow-up to Cregger's writing and directorial. Actually, it isn't a directorial debut, but it's the one that kind of put him on the map as a director,
Exactly.
Barbarian. So if this is the first time that you are seeing us on Spotify or YouTube for video, please make sure you like, leave a review, and obviously subscribe. If you're listening to us, wherever you're listening to us, please make sure you follow, like, and subscribe as well. So yeah, let's start with Weapons. Let's go below the line.
Let's go.
Very quickly, let me talk about producer Roy Lee. So Roy Lee heads up Vertigo Entertainment. Now, to be sure, Vertigo Entertainment is not the first studio that did remakes and reboots, but their idea behind this, and it really is a model that sort of built that studio, was Roy Lee went to Asian filmmakers and said, "Hey, listen, we're going to buy the remake rights for you for these movies because people aren't receptive in the US to subtitles. And we'll give you a piece of the pie and we'll include you in the remake as well." And so when Vertigo started, we got US remakes that involved sometimes the actual Chinese or Japanese director. The Ring, The Grudge, Dark Water, a ton of other stuff, and even other thrillers from Asian countries as well as European countries. But recently they branched off. They produced Boy Kills World, Five Nights at Freddy's. They are rebooting the Strangers trilogy with Rennie Harlin. And then, of course, they were behind episode 110, Watch Skip Plus Companion. That was Drew Hancock's film. And then Minecraft. And then the recent Until Dawn, which I kind of saw and was kind of like, I don't know, it was kind of poopy. Whatever.
Kind of fun.
It was fun for about 30 minutes, and then I don't know. Actually, when they all started exploding or whatever, minor spoiler, when they all started exploding, that's when I kind of perked up a little bit. But anyway, yeah. And then I'll also mention that Josh Brolin, actor Josh Brolin, who interestingly gets top billing. We'll discuss this later. He's an executive producer on this. So our writer-director is Zach Cregger. Previously, he was on the Watch Skip singular episode Cupcake the Barbarian, and that is sandwiched between episode 5, Samaritan, the superhero Sylvester Stallone movie, and then episode 6, Clerks 3. We dive into Zach Cregger's history on that episode. I won't rehash it. Suffice it to say, he's a multi-hyphenate comedian, actor, filmmaker. He was previously in the comedy troupe. Can we say this title? The Whitest Kids You Know? I guess we can.
Yeah, we can.
He was on a couple failed sitcoms, unfortunately. One lasted 2 or 3 years. That was Wrecked, WRECKED. And then his actual directorial debut and writing director debut was with a gentleman named Trevor Moore. They were both on The Whitest Kids You Know. And it's a film called Miss March, which I don't know why people don't talk about this movie, because every time I watch it, and Cregger acts in that film, by the way, he and Trevor Moore act in it. That film is hysterical.
Yeah.
So just really quickly, Miss March is about a guy who, at his prom, wants to lose his virginity to his girlfriend. And he unfortunately has an accident and goes into a coma for 4 years. And when he wakes up, he discovers that the girl that he was in love with became a Playboy model, a centerfold. And so he and his friend go to like rekindle this relationship with this woman. It's so funny. You guys really need to see this. And
it's like the Dumb and Dumber sequel we wish we got. It feels so much like a Dumb and Dumber movie. Love it.
Very, very much. Maybe a little on PC, but you know what? It's comedy, folks. So,
but it got overlooked because we had the Hangovers and things like that were overtaken.
By the way, Zach Cregger is now officially attached to the Resident Evil reboot. So very, very excited to see that. Our DP is Larkin Seipel. Not a lot of information on him. I did peep a picture of him. He's very cute, but many may know him because he lensed the John Watts films Cop Car and then the Apple TV movie Wolves with, isn't that WOLVES, not WOLFS?
WOLFS, I believe it is.
No, I know, but it's like incorrect grammar. But anyway, so the wolves in question are Brad Pitt and George Clooney. But more importantly, Seipel is probably best known for his collaborations with the Daniels, and they are the filmmakers behind Swiss Army Man and Everything Everywhere All at Once. Kind of brilliant. We love you, Larkin Seipel. It's a man, baby. It's a man, not a girl.
Larkin knows how to use shadows in a way that's really cool. If you look at all of his films, you go back and you see the way that he balances shadows and light. Perfect fit for this film.
Oh yeah. Also, we should mention he's done music videos. Artists like Sia, Disturbed, Flying Lotus. He actually won the MTV Award for Best Cinematography for a Music Video for a video with Flying Lotus in 2015. Our music is by the Holiday Brothers as well as Zach Cregger. So he's just a multi-hyphenate, and now he's adding music and composing. I have no idea what his piece to this is, but there are 2 other composers credited, the Holiday Brothers, Hayes and Ryan Holiday. This is really interesting. I don't know if they're still part of this, but they are on a website called Sozo, S-O-Z-O. They are a media incubator. So it's a collective of innovative arts, artists and their art transcends media. So, for example, the musicians, Alphabet Rockers, Ladies of Hip Hop, they are artists in this incubator, as well as the vertical dance troupe Bandaloop. If you've ever seen Bandaloop perform, they like hang from wires and they dance almost like the Matrix, like off of walls and stuff like that. And they're flying. Yeah. So the Holiday Brothers are part of that. And the reason why they're part of that incubator is that they specialize in music experiences that celebrate discovery, but also blur the lines between the performer and the participant. And so they composed something called the National Mall, and this was released via musical apps and then GPS on your phone. And basically what happens is as you walk through the National Mall, as you discover certain things, you'll get a different score or different music while you're listening to your phone and walking around. And they have done similar GPS sort of like music experiences for Central Park, the South by Southwest Interactive. They have done commissions for Dolby, TED Talks, Disney. They've scored 30 for 30, and then the podcast Masters of Scale and Meditative Story. Their breakthrough score, and honestly, they haven't scored a lot of films. They were featured as performers on the Barbarian soundtrack, but their most notable score is for the documentary. I'm laughing. I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh, but so they scored the documentary for HBO, Class Action Park. If anybody has seen this, it's about the notorious amusement park whose attractions and rides caused many an injury for children and visitors, and so people sued. I feel like, was there not like a Johnny Knox movie made around this film?
Yeah, there was a Johnny Knox fictionalized version of the story that was done as a comedy. Yeah.
Holy God. But the documentary is something, folks. You really, really, really need to see this. Okay, so I'm going to try to zip through the cast. So for our younger friends and listeners, basically, I am always intently interested on what's called top billing. Oh, if you're a younger cinephile and you don't know, there's always kind of a behind the scenes battle as to who gets top billing and whose name appears first and in what order on the poster and then the closing credits. So imagine my surprise when the movie ends and Josh Brolin is the first name to pop up on that. Not saying he is not a good actor. I'm just saying I was very surprised that he was top billed for this.
Yeah, you know the story why, right?
No, I don't, because
the story is that Pedro Pascal was originally cast in that role. He left last minute and they had to give him top billing and a production role to get him in as fast as possible.
Well, you know what? You and I talked about this, that Pedro Pascal is in danger of overexposure.
I think it was smart to replace him. I think he went off to do Eddington or was working. Thought he could get done with Eddington, but had to do reshoots or something. But yeah,
I think Brolin brought the right care/douchiness. I don't know that Pedro could have pulled that off.
He would have been too emotional, I think.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, Brolin gets top billing. Josh Brolin, something of I want to say Hollywood royalty. His father,
he's a nepo baby,
is James Brolin. Wait, I thought we banned that term.
Oh yeah, right? We've talked about it so much.
Did we? I don't know. What are we going to call it?
Hollywood royalty, born of royalty.
Born of Hollywood royalty, celluloid royalty. There you go. I like it. So Josh Brolin, celluloid royalty. His father is James Brolin, famous for any number of television shows and movies in the 70s and 80s, most notably the Amityville Horror, which used to scare the living shit out of me as a child. So I think we all know, at least you and I know, James Brolin as a child actor for the role of Brandon, or Brand, as they called him, in Dick Donner's Steven Spielberg produced The Goonies, which...
I love that you said Dick Donner. I love it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Like, we're best friends. Richard Donner. Sorry. Dick Donner just sounds so much...
It does. It's got
a pop. It's got a pop. I mean, listen, like... Superman, a Dick Donner movie. Lethal Weapon, a Dick Donner movie. I love it. So The Goonies, he was in The Goonies. Yep. Strangely, he would then have roles in television series and then movies, but not really like break out like his father. So much so that Brolin was actually fully trading stocks as a full-time job when he was cast in his breakthrough role, which is No Country for Old Men,
Yep,
for the Coen brothers. But I will say this, before that, I think that and you can chime in on this too. I remember he started showing up in like horror films. So like Night Watch, Guillermo del Toro's Mimic, and I was like, is that fucking Josh Brolin? And then since then he's been a working actor. We won't hold the remake of Old Boy against him, but he's actually pretty fucking good in that.
He's good in that for what it is.
Yeah, yeah. When did Brolin catch your radar before No Country for Old Men and The Goonies? Like where in between did you?
I think it was me being like, oh, that's the guy from Goonies when I saw No Country for Old Men. But
Okay.
I think what really solidified him for me was after that Sicario. I was like, okay, this guy's the real fucking deal. Like,
Oh yeah.
and then when he was cast as everyone's favorite villain in the Avengers films,
Oh, I thought you were gonna say George W. Bush.
he was played in George. He played George W. Bush in that. That's hilarious. He plays that role though with such a sweetness to it that you can't help but kind of end up liking the big buffoon. I mean, gosh,
I know. So
yeah,
that
he's
was
so great in
that's the trick of that fucking screenplay and his performance. But like he's been in like everything, right? Like Men in Black 3. Did we forget he was in Men in Black 3? Avengers, Thanos.
Thanos. Someone's got something on their mind. Some Dick Garner on his mind.
Sorry. But he's been in other comic book movies too, right? Like Cable, he was so good as Cable.
Yeah, he was.
Where's my other Cable movies? And then Dune,
I know.
Gurney Halleck and Dune. So the man's been around. We love Josh Brolin. Just weird that he got top billing. Very strange.
Yeah. Well, politics happens all the time.
It happens. Moving on to our poster girl. She's the official poster girl for Watch Skip Plus, Julia Garner, because we keep talking the fuck about her. That bitch is everywhere. In fact, that
Frosted tips. My God, can we get rid of them, please? I'm so over her frosted tips.
It's and that's TIPS, folks.
Not tits. Frosted tip.
Yes, sorry. But it's a holdover from when she was supposed to play Madonna. So we've mentioned this a million times before, but there is a long gestating Madonna biopic, and she's supposed to play her. And so that's why she has the platinum blonde hair in The Wolfman, Fantastic Four, which we covered on Watch Skip Plus, and then I've even talked about Apartment 7A, which was the Rosemary's Baby prequel or whatever. So, she's our current it girl. If you want to know more about her, just check out Fantastic Four, which was like, 2 episodes ago, and then The Wolfman, which was your first review. Anything else to say about Julia Garner?
I think that she's deserved all of the attention that she's gotten. I know people gave her a lot of a hard time for her role in Wolfman. I think she did what she could with that. I really think she's great and everything, but I mean, her pinnacle is Ozark. If she ever grows and can do something better than that, that's when I really start to perk. But again,
and Inventing Anna. Don't sleep on Inventing Anna.
That's actually pretty good too.
Yeah, but not according to my husband. My husband is like, this woman cannot act. I was like, I'm watching the movie. Shut up.
There's a lot of people that don't like her. It's not.
It's so weird. I have no idea. Maybe it's that icy blonde thing that we talked about with Vanessa Kirby. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Next, we have my favorite
hunk,
future husband, big-headed Russian Jew, Alden Ehrenreich. My God, I love this man so much. I think he's so gorgeous. Scott was like, ew, when I was like, he's so hot. Maybe it was the mustache in this. I don't know. Alden Ehrenreich, American actor. I think we all know him as basically Solo, right? Because he was in the much maligned Star Wars failure, I guess, of Solo. Directed by Ron Howard. Was that directed by Ron Howard or was it somebody else? I can't remember.
Ron Howard saved it, supposedly. It was originally supposed to be directed by the same guys that did Lego Movie.
Lord and Miller, and they stepped out. Or they were fired.
That's real truth.
I know. But auspicious beginnings for Alden Ehrenreich. By the way, Alden comes from the fact that his a close family friend of his is Phil Alden Robinson, the director of Sneakers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so that's who he's named after. So Alden Caleb Ehrenreich, auspicious beginning. He was discovered by Steven Spielberg at a bar mitzvah, or it might have been a bat mitzvah. No, it's a bat mitzvah. Yeah, and so he was like, "You should be an actor." To which I say, if Steven Spielberg comes up to you and says you should be an actor, and you're like, "Nah,
You
I'm
should
good."
be. He has a perfect
Exactly.
look. He has a great look to look like he's from the 1950s, 60s, which is why he fit in like Hail
Hail
Caesar.
Caesar.
And
Would
even
it
his
try
role
more?
in, yeah, and in Beautiful Creatures, he kind of has a very 1940s, 50s vibe to him, the way he looks, and now it's all sweaty New Orleans. So yeah, he really has a great look to him, and
Yeah.
I think he's getting underused. I thought he was really going to explode, but he just
me
keeps doing
too.
these small roles. I think he really just needs a starring vehicle that can really help propel him because he's as good. I mean, he's kind of getting outshined by Jack Nicholson's son Ray. They very similar roles. They're very similar in what
They have very similar looks,
Look.
big heads,
Mhm.
big like very Cro-Magnon brow bones or
Yeah,
whatever.
which is why they can play those 40s, 50s type of characters really well and kind of the villains. And they can also play good guys as well. So, I mean, they're very versatile, but he needs to pick more roles and he needs to get something where he's front facing as a lead, I believe. Because I mean, he was so good in Foul Play, but then, or Fair Play.
Fair Play. Yeah. Actually,
But then that was thrown on Netflix, so hardly anybody saw it.
yes, everybody please watch Fair Play on Netflix. He is a scoundrel. He's a fucking scoundrel in that. And then, of course, he had a bit part in Cocaine Bear, very memorable in Cocaine Bear. Oppenheimer, and then he does show his butt in Brave New World, the Peacock series based on the Aldous Huxley novel. And then he did work with Francis Ford Coppola in his early career. Actually, they were some of his first films, Tatro and Twixt. He's really, really good in those. I fucking love Alden Ehrenreich. I love him. Please be on the screen more.
Yes.
Jumping on to Austin Abrams, I've been a huge fan of this kid. I always say kid because I don't know. I think he's 28, but he looks like he's 17.
Yeah, he's looked young for a decade.
I know. I fucking hate you, Austin Abrams. But many will know him from the 4th and 5th season of The Walking Dead. He was on Euphoria recently. Blink and you'll miss him, but he's in movies like The Kings of Summer, Paper Towns, Tragedy Girls, which is really fucking awesome. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, one of the best PG-13 horror films ever committed to celluloid. So love this guy. He also showed up in Do Revenge, which was written and directed by Jennifer Caton Robinson, who we talked about on I Know What You Did Last Summer, which, by the way, the views and the downloads keep coming for that episode. I'm like, what? It might actually eclipse Companion, which is weird.
Yeah.
And Sinners, it's already eclipsed Sinners.
People want to see that hunk Tyler in the flesh.
I know that's right. Moving on to child actor Kerry Christopher. I think this is his biggest thing, right? Like, I mean, he's been on TV. 9/11, 911, Fuller House, Days of Our Lives, American Horror Story, where he played Little Boy, and then on Station 19, Town Head Boy. Who makes up these titles? Anyway, I think he's probably best known for playing young Joseph Mankiewicz in David Fincher's Mank. But let me just say this. He really knocks this role out of the park. I fully bought into the emotions of his
100%.
performance, and it didn't feel like Dakota Fanning, precocious beyond her years. It's really nice.
Felt like a real kid. And again, man, it's good to see some really good kid acting. So him and the kid from 28 years later, they're just
Oh my God. Maybe they should be in a movie together about I don't know, kids that rob a bank or something. It'd be great. It'd be fucking great.
Kerry Christopher's got a really good career ahead of him. If he can keep up, if he can make it through the doldrums of the childhood actor and move beyond that, he can really do some good stuff, I feel.
Dominion. Anyway, okay. Moving on, 2 more actors. We got Benedict Wong. He's an English actor. No, he was born in Britain, but he is Chinese, folks.
Yeah.
He was on the stage broke out in film in Dirty Pretty Things that was directed by, I want to say that was Stephen Frears. But he sort of broke out internationally with one of Netflix's early series, Marco Polo. He played Kublai Khan. And then, of course, we had 2015's The Martian, and then 2016's Doctor Strange, where he entered the MCU. He plays Wong, basically. Love that character. He's been in Sci-Fi's Deadly Class, which is a great comic book series. Only lasts one season. I don't know why. And then he's currently on Three Body Problem, which, okay, can I just lodge a complaint against Netflix? Why do we have to wait years between seasons of series? Like, don't you have all the fucking money in the world? Like, why do I have to wait for Three Body season 2? And it's been like 2 years since season 1. Like, it's ridiculous. Anyway, I don't know.
I hate the way they handle their series. That's why I don't get addicted to Netflix shows until at least if I know they get a second season, I'll dive into a first. But you get burned too much. You get addicted to something. It ends in a big pot boiler and it never goes anywhere.
Okay. And then last person I want to mention, and it took me, I don't know, it took me about 20 minutes of watching her in this film to realize it was her. But
I know.
But Amy Madigan. Amy Madigan, American actress. She got an Academy Award, nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress twice in a lifetime. But she has been in everything. Love Letters, Places in the Heart, Female Perversions. Don't sleep on that Vinegar Syndrome edition that just got issued. She starred with Clancy Brown, who does full frontal nudity in it, and then like Tilda Swinton is in it. Great. I love Female Perversions. But she has been on the stage, she's been on the screen, she's been on TV. We're looking at like Grey's Anatomy, Carnival. She got an Emmy, I think, for Roe versus Wade, which was the television film that portrayed the struggle for Roe versus Wade, which was then overturned by the Orange Menace. And then, she's absolutely amazing. Got her start on Heart to Heart. I know you know what that show is, but I think our younger viewers wouldn't know. And let me just say this, Amy Madigan is winning because she's married to Ed Harris. So there you go.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Amy Madigan? Oh, how could I forget? She played McCoy in Streets of Fire, which is Walter Hill's like legendary masterpiece. Yes, Brad, over Not a Bomb, Streets of Fire is a masterpiece.
I first remember her as John Candy's girlfriend, I think, in Uncle Buck.
Uncle Buck, yeah.
Yeah, and then she played it right that same year. She was in Field of Dreams. So and my mom was a big fan. So
oh god, I love Amy Madigan. She's the best. But yeah, I was like, not Amy Madigan.
I couldn't tell at first. I was like, "Who is this?"
We'll
just
tell you that. Yeah, we'll definitely get into that. So, okay, I think this is going to be fairly short because we don't really want to ruin this film. No. The trailers have already kind of done that. So, before we launch into our spoiler-free thoughts about this, I will read the log line. So, basically, it says weapons. Directed by Zach Cregger, when all but one child from the same class mysteriously vanish on the same night at exactly the same time, a community is left questioning who or what is behind their disappearance. So, Mike, spoiler-free thoughts on the follow-up to Barbarian, Weapons.
Well, before we talk about it, we have to talk about Barbarian, how great that was, and how he, at the time, we started spitting out a lot of terms like, man, this guy's like the new Jordan Peele. Like, he went from comedy to horror in such a natural way, doing, again, not telling overtly new stories, but it's the style, the way in which he portrays these stories and the way in which they unfold that makes him so unique, like a Quentin Tarantino. And similar to Mr. Nope himself, Jordan Peele. And so coming from that comedic background allows him the ability to look outside of the box. He's not making horror movies out here just to scare you, right? That's not what Cregger's is doing. In fact, this film, if you look at the history, it's been well talked about. He started writing it because right after he was doing post work on Barbarian, Trevor Moore, his best friend and co-creator of The Whitest Kids You Know, died in a freak accident, believed to have been depression, maybe caused by alcohol, maybe caused by drug addiction, maybe caused by a jilted ex. And it was a mystery that him and all of his friends were trying to figure out what happened.
Oh my God,
He
I
was
didn't
so
even know
young.
that. My
He was a
God.
40-year-old, and he fell off of a balcony. And it hit
Oh,
hard with me because when I was 5, I fell off of a balcony in our home
oh my
and
God.
almost died. So yeah, don't have indoor balconies
Jesus.
and be careful, especially
Oh my God.
whether you're young
My
or if you're drinking.
Lord.
So he wrote this in response to the way that death made him feel and the way that mystery made him feel. So
Yeah.
going into the film thinking that, I was thinking we were getting something along the lines of Bring Her Back, which again, talk about a great year for theatrical horror with Bring
Yeah.
Her Back, with 28 weeks or 28 years later. I mean, just
Together.
Sinners. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. It's a
great
great year. Final Destination
year.
Bloodline, say what you will. It's actually pretty good.
No,
And it's on
great.
streaming. Check out our review. Sorry.
No,
Plug.
yeah.
Anyway, it's a
And
great
we've had a
year for
great year for horror, and this continues that, my friends. This is better than Barbarians. This is a fucking masterpiece. Go watch Magnolia, which is another inspiration for it. He's able to tap into that multiple layered narrative where we're following multiple characters during a similar timeline and what's how they're being affected by, like you said, the children missing. And man, the way that every single chapter ends is so brilliant and starts with the next one. I was just at the edge of my seat waiting for each and every chapter to unfold. This movie is brilliant, and it's getting all the love in the box office. It's beating Freakier Friday, which I don't think it was initially even thought would happen. So it's really killing it. And I think everybody needs to get out there with Sinners. It's going to be hard for me to say which is my favorite film of the year because these two right now stand as my two favorite films of 2025. And
Ooh,
yeah,
endorsement.
I loved the hell out of this. I loved every minute of it. I loved the tension. I loved the way it released. The trailers did not give away what this was. I love that they were able to actually lead us into a true mystery. This film is a mystery. It's so good. I can't say it. I mean, we'll go into it. You can't say why it's good until you get into the spoilers more.
Yeah.
But beautiful. Craigers, just keep doing this. Keep shocking us by telling stories that are familiar, but in a way and in a style that keeps us guessing.
Yeah.
Brilliant stuff.
Yeah.
Just brilliant.
So I have a couple follow-up questions. Some are sort of likening this to, like, I've heard mention of other kind of like child horror, Children of the Corn, or like there's a streamer called There's Something Wrong with the Children or something like that. So I bring that up because I have a friend of mine who doesn't like horror or gory films or shock or jump scare films.
Okay.
What would you say to somebody who is on the fence of like, is this horror? Is this going to be like Barbarian? Should I go? What would you say to them about that?
I would say, are you a fan of Paul Thomas Anderson? Do you like, shock factor films that aren't just here to scare you? Do you like Tarantino? If you like those things, there's no reason why, even if you don't like horror, why you wouldn't enjoy this. Because first and foremost, it's a mystery from the beginning until that wonderful last chapter, and talk about just tying everything with a perfect bow. That final act is just goddamn great. But it's I got goosebumps thinking about it. I love this movie, man. I fucking loved this movie.
Got it. The last question is, I have been undone by quote unquote swings or the revelation of the mystery, right? So again, without going into that though, did you think the swing fit with everything else that you were seeing before, or was it too far afield?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that, without revealing spoilers, is that all of that, like you were talking about, all the Children of the Corn, that's all MacGuffin. That is literally just thrown out by the marketing people to throw you off of what this really is. So first and foremost, if you allowed that marketing to make you think, this isn't what it's really about, you should be glad that that isn't what it's really about. You should be glad that we're tricked into going and seeing something that is multi-layered, Rashomon style
Yeah, yes.
mystery thriller horror film that just really unravels in a way that has enough drops of emotional layers that links back to the original reason why this story was created, and just goes to show that Cregger's just a freaking great writer. First and foremost, I think he is an amazing writer.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want him and Peele to do something together. Could you imagine?
Oh my God.
They're
Be like
so
be like crossing the streams. I think we'd all be like Smile. We'd all see it and then like go crazy.
I know.
So okay, excellent. Hard watch.
Super. Well, yeah. I mean, it literally next to Sinners is my favorite film of the year. So yes, it's a definite must go see, go watch. Don't go beyond our spoiler-free stuff. Wait until you see the film before you go into the spoilers. Just allow it to unravel before you. I know so many people are like, I want to know what's happening before. Fight that urge and just go as blind as possible. We need you to go into blind. It's important.
Yeah.
I think you have to.
Actually, we kind of designed this show to do that, right? Which also kind of throws off our numbers, I'll say, because we do the spoiler free and then we want you to come back. That's why we have the chapters, right?
Yep.
But yeah, if you can go in as blind as possible, like my brother loves to just go on the internet and spoil things for himself and then go see the movie. I'm like, why would you do that? Who buys a book and then reads the last chapter? Nobody does that. So please just go in blind. Anyway, so my spoiler-free thoughts, yeah, it's an absolute hard watch. It's a great second film. I remember the lights came up and these two young moviegoers in front of me, the one lady was like, "Oh, if his name is on any film, I'm gonna see it because with this and Barbarian or whatever, he's like the master." And I'm like, "Well, I don't know that I would say that right now, but yeah, there's definitely some really really good talent here." Yeah, it's a mystery. There is also some very sly, dark comedy going on in this as well, but the way that it does unfold. I will say this: I have a very big complaint because, as you know, I always love to take one dump on one factor of a film. So my dump on this film is that Cregger is repeating himself with the sort of blackouts or the move to a different chapter that he did with Barbarian. Now here it does work because we are working with different characters and their perspective on things that happen, which is what I think is a great way to tell this. But the narrative form of this was maybe slightly maddening because when there are times where it ratchets up and then we cut to a different chapter with a different character and I'm like, why? It's it's like
it's what he does, and he does it masterfully. But yeah, I get it.
I hate to say this. It's like you're about to do it and the hand gets pulled away. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if there is one shit that I have to take, it's that one, he's repeating the narrative tricks of Barbarian, and then two, it's a little maddening for some viewers like me, because I think you could have told this in a linear story way with one relevant flashback and it would have been still brilliant. But maybe that's the thing. It's how he told the story. And it's wonderful. There's great performances in this. Alden Ehrenreich is a fucking trip in this.
Yeah.
That poor guy. In response to my friend, hi Lisa, there is some gore here and there are some kind of like tense jump scares. But I think you can see this even if you're not a horror fan, and you can just close your eyes when
there's
the
a couple
things are
moments.
happening. Yeah, there's more than a couple actually.
At the very end, you definitely don't want to close your eyes. But there's a few moments of gore, and there's a few shocking moments that aren't gory. One especially with a fork. But there's moments where you're just like, what? I mean, what is it with these horror movies between the knife scene and Bring Her Back and the fork scene in this? I was just
There's a lot of so in Bring Her Back, it was like mouth and eye trauma, and then here it's face trauma. Like just
my teeth hurt thinking about Bring Her Back again. It's like, I don't know if I can't watch.
My face hurts thinking about this film. But anyway, everybody is uniformly great here. I didn't get my husband's criticism of Julia Garner.
No, I thought she was great.
I thought she was really, really good. And there's a little wonderful bit about, where she's kind of like, I can't do that as a teacher. Like, why the fuck am I here? And so, yeah, to your point, the writing in this is really, really strong. But that sly fucking sense of humor that they snap in here, there's even
it's great.
sound effects that are given to comedic effect. And so it's a full package. I know I shit on the narrative style, but it's very Pulp Fiction, very like let's roll the timer back and see what but yeah, it's just I wish this film all the success, and I'm super excited to see what he does with Resident Evil. But if we get the same narrative, I'm going to be like Zach Cregger. I'm going to spank your cute little ass and make you write in a different way. If you guys have not seen what Zach Cregger looks like, he is adorable. He's like this goofy, like boy next door. Like he's just gorgeous. Okay. So hard watch for me too. And time to spoil this. So if you have not seen Weapons and we want you to go in blind, by the way, I'm just going to say this before we jump into spoilers. I don't know that that's the right title for this film. We could have found a stronger word, but the title is as enticing as the concept of the film. So I guess kudos to marketing. But anyway, if you have not seen Weapons, we're going to spoil it faster than you can fly away in the airplane. In 3, 2, 1. Okay. I got major long legs vibes from this because what starts out as kind of like a mystery, a thriller, where are the kids, like this sort of heart pounding, like who's to blame for it and all of that. Little did I know that we were getting a supernatural fairy tale.
Yeah. I mean, it gives it to you if you pay attention. The kid narrative, the way that it's being narrated by a cute little kid's voice, and you're watching basically a Grimm's fairy tale. It's what you're watching.
Yeah, it's like a Grimm's fairy tale. It's like a dark Pied Piper meets Hansel and Gretel, like in the worst fucking way. But yeah, so I did not realize it would be supernatural, and I think that is something that I don't want people to spoil because
you cannot know that this is, again, bye if you haven't seen this, but this is a fucking witch movie, bro. It's a witch movie, and I loved it. I had no fucking idea.
God, like The Craft. Hello, bitches. Watch out for this redheaded crazy ass. So what's interesting is you first of all, there are some beautiful, gorgeous images in this. Like it starts off like very dreamy, and just the shots of the kids running in that weird airplane sort of mentality thing. And just all of these gorgeous shots. It's all very fairy tale like, but then it starts to get, I don't know, I'd have to see it again, but the photography starts to get sharper and more in your face and less lyrical.
Yeah,
and then that's when
the movie goes.
The gore and the rain and these sort of like shots where they zoom in and everything's very like you just feel this creeping dread, and then you just don't know what's going on. And then just like Barbarian with that crazy mom. Ooh, I am just thinking about the crazy creature or whatever. Amy Madigan's turn as this like, I kept calling her Ronald McDonald. I was like, here comes Ronald McDonald or whatever. Like she has this like red hair and then clown-like makeup because I don't know. I guess the feeling is she's hundreds of years old and hasn't watched YouTube videos for makeup. So she's still doing it in the old way, like period Marie Antoinette old way. But what's curious is that I always say this, that like if you watch the beginning of the film, you'll know everything that you need to know. And so in the beginning, there's this theme of like blue. I don't know if you caught that, but like there's a lot of like blue accents. Um, but when there's an opening scene where they're talking to Alex about the disappearance of stuff, and you see the shocking red hair, right? And then there was a little red herring, haha, where there's a police officer with shocking red hair that's like taking her
Yeah.
statement over like the whatever happened to her car, the oh, they did the graffiti of the witch on there or whatever. And I'm like, what's up with this red hair? But then you start to see those shots of like her witchery and her presence being felt with certain people.
Yeah.
And some of that shit was like those were some crazy jump scares, like insidious jump scares of like the demon behind or whatever.
Yeah.
But then, oh my God, when we get that scene with Benedict Wong and we see her doing the magic for the first time,
Yes.
that scene was so shocking. First of all, as a gay man, okay, so Benedict Wong's character is gay, and he and his husband
Mhm.
are I don't know what they're watching. I can't remember what they're watching.
It was a nature doc or some sort.
It was about parasites, right? They're watching a thing about parasites, which curiously enough is also what Julia Garner's character is
Yep.
teaching at the moment. So there's a really interesting like thematic way that they're sort of pulling the production in as well. Remind me to talk about the shelves when I'm done with this. But like as a gay man, first of all, we don't eat 8 hot dogs while watching documentaries, okay? That tray was agony. I was like, who are these gays?
Why are you eating
It's like he makes a tray of like fucking 8 hot dogs, and then there's like all these chips. It was like a
It's the
shark.
whitest kids you know joke, really, is what it is. It's
It's
just throwing in a little joke. It is.
It's a
It obviously is.
charcuterie board of like nonsense food. I was like, what are you doing? So then anyway, she shows up at the front door, and I love it. Like the gay guy comes in and he's like, ooh, when he sees her and how she
Oh, my idiots.
but then she's like, oh, I need water or whatever. And he's like, no, you're gonna have to go away. But then the kind couple, the gay man is like, oh no, come in, have water. I'm like, no.
Invite her in.
Yeah. So I guess we should set this all up by essentially saying that what's happening is, and correct me if I'm wrong, because you know how I could get some movies wrong, right? So young Alex, who is his character is really the only one that you could do a flashback with. I think you could do everything else chronologically and still have a really good mystery, right? So young Alex, his parents decide to take in an aunt, right? Who I can't remember if they said she was sick or she was dying or she had cancer or whatever.
She was sick.
Yeah, but they take her in.
Aunt Gladys.
Aunt Gladys, Jesus God. And she's got like those blunt bangs and then like the hair that comes out like a triangle.
Which is this is weird. It's a wig. Why choose that for your wig choice? I mean, come on.
Well, it also dovetails with when we get the title card of weapons, there's a triangle with a circle.
Yeah.
Right? Which I always took to be like, the pink triangle, like gay and lesbian or whatever. But I don't know if that's an international sign for like witches or the supernatural. But I sort of was like, why is that a triangle? Anyway, so her hair is kind of like a triangle. But what we discover is that she's toting around what appears to be, I thought it was a bonsai tree. It's not. But I think it's like this weird like tree of life kind of like supernatural thing. And she is a witch, and she breaks the branches off, and what she does is that she is supernaturally like trying to turn people her way.
She weaponizes people. I mean, to put it bluntly.
She weaponizes people, right? But her first initial foray into the supernatural was that whatever she's sick with, she passed it on supernaturally to the parents.
she's sucking their life force, basically,
That's
is what
it.
I
Okay.
gathered. Is
Yeah.
put them under a curse where they were being fed by their son to keep them alive, and she was sucking their life force, like a classic witch tale. I mean,
Yeah.
so great. And I love that we didn't see any of this until the end. I mean, I didn't
Right.
catch any of the witch shit, but it was all there all along. Like you said, the fucking
Yeah.
triangle when it showed weapons, I didn't know what the hell that meant. And now watching it again, we're just going to be giggling in glee. It's going to make rewatching this movie so much fun. It's going to be fun to watch with the people who haven't seen it. That's what makes it so great.
I mean, but just her appearing like
So
hereditary style, like in the ceiling, like with the clown and then in the forest, she's standing there like looking. It was so scary. So anyway, so she is sucking the energy from them so that she can get better. But what happens is it's not working. So she basically comes in, zombifies the parents, makes Alex like feed them. He's like a little slave basically. And then she's like, it's not working. I need an idea. And then he's like, well, if it works, will you go away? And
Yeah.
so she enlists him in taking something personal of all of the kids.
all the kids in the class. Yep.
And so then she does her like magic thing where she so what she does is she breaks a branch off, she
Pricks herself.
pricks her finger, she wipes the blood all over the branch, and then she takes the personal thing from it. And then when she cracks it, that will weaponize the kids or make them like come to a predetermined location or kill somebody, right? So that we see that with the other characters and especially the gay couple, because she actually does that, right? Now, the weird thing is she teaches the kid to do that. And when the kid sees that it brings all of the kids from the school into her basement, and then she's basically sucking all the young energy from them to get better, she doesn't leave, and he decides to recreate the ritual, right?
Yep. That is so great. That last, oh my God.
Oh,
When he does the snap back, and then all of a sudden she hears it, and you see Gladys's pure fear in her face.
And she's
the
like,
sound
"Oh,
design, you hear the feet going click, 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 and then boom, they go busting through and chase her through fucking glass all through the neighborhood. Oh my hell, that was amazing.
So to set this up, as all the characters are trying to figure it out, Josh Brolin, who, by the way, I thought it was a really dark comedic touch that his son is the one who's bullying Alex, right? And I'm like, oops. And that's what I thought. I thought maybe the kid was doing something because he was bullied. But then, it turns out it's this witch, right?
Well,
So
he's bullied so much that when she's like, well, this isn't working. He's like, well, everyone in my class are kind of assholes. Here you go.
why not the kids? I hate them. Yeah, very, very odd. Again, another dark comedic kind of, touch to the screenplay. But just to set it up for the viewers, what ends up happening is that, Brolin and Garner start putting together like where the kids are going. Like there's a whole like map thing, blah, blah, blah. It's all just a MacGuffin to get everybody to that one location where Alex lives, where his parents are zombified, where all the kids are in the basement. And when everybody discovers that, the witch basically weaponizes the parents, Alden Ehrenreich's character, and then was there somebody else?
Benedict Wong's character.
Yeah, Benedict Wong's character, to protect her so that, that nobody discovers that the kids are in the basement, right? And so there's this really tense, like, final family act, actually, where
Wong attacks her. Wong attacks her, and her and Brolin are having at it because, of course, she's
the young
teacher.
addict attacks Brolin, which is funny because, the addict is like 120 pounds. So there's this darkly comic sequence where he's literally just throwing the fucking kid like WWE style every time, and then he keeps getting up, right? So when you're weaponized until the person is dead, you won't stop, right? Like a Terminator.
And their eyes, you notice how their eyes get bigger and bigger as they are getting stopped. If they can't like do what they're supposed to do, their eyes get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's so gross. And so and of course, Julia Garner is in love with Alden Ehrenreich's character. And so in order, they're just trying to fight to survive, but you realize that there are these like salt lines, and I guess anybody who crosses the salt line would be attacked by the people who were weaponized, right?
Yeah.
And so there's this really amazing scene where the kid puts his foot over the salt line where his parents are, and then
And they
he
attack
presses
him.
his toes down, and you hear this beep, and then they run after him. Oh my God, it was so scary, so scary, so scary.
The mom's face when she's like trying to get him as she busts through the door, that face was frightening. God, this movie is so
it was
fucking good.
It was like The Shining, right?
Yeah,
or even
was an homage to The
or
Shining.
even David Cronenberg's The Brood. So remember The Brood, where like the little girl and then like the killer babies are coming through.
Yeah,
There's all these visual references to other horror films. It's pretty fantastic. And so while the kid is doing that and they're fighting, the kid decides, well, I'm just going to do the spell and weaponize the kids or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's when he breaks the thing, and then the witch realizes, oh my God, the kids are coming for me. And there is this long, protracted chase scene where the 17 kids are going after her, and they are just demolishing homes,
everything in their wake.
Oh my God. And let me tell you, the audience that I saw it with, like, they were like, they didn't know what to do. They were going out of their minds. They were like, oh no, don't run into oh my God, the fence. And they're like, oh my God. And
I was cackling. I was laughing so fucking hard. I could not control I laughed harder in that than I did in Naked Gun. That sequence was so great. And it just, because you're so built up with this tension, and then boom, that happens. And I just couldn't help but just erupt in laughter. The whole rest of the audience with me, like at first, because I'm just this loud guy and I laugh when I'm uncomfortable. And so I'm laughing uncontrollably. And then the guy behind me starts to laugh, I think, because I'm laughing. And then the whole audience starts just feeding the energy, and they're all hooting and hollering and screaming.
oh my God.
It was so much fun.
I know we're not doing a really great job in terms of like setting it up for the friends and listeners.
No.
We're just kind of recounting the crazy guns.
Well, we're not here to just go over the
film,
plot.
right? I know.
We're not here to go over the plot points. We're here to make you see through our eyes what we thought, what we felt, and kind of have fun with some of these spoilers, because man, this movie is so great. And I mean, yes, it's a silly witch movie, but it really is about how grief and sadness weaponizes people and it makes you hurt people inadvertently. And then we blame all these things, right? Like alcohol. Yes. There was this whole thing with what's his name's Alden Reich's character, who was an ex-alcoholic, and you could tell that their relationship
going to a meeting, yeah,
and then he slips. Again, there's all this stuff that links back to the original story that I'm just like, man, Cregger is such a brilliant writer. That this whole movie was sprung about by the accidental death of his friend, just really just shows what a genius that he is. How did this happen? And again, in the end, his alcohol level was like 0.30, and they believe alcohol led him to fall. And that's how simple it was, which is, this film is decidingly simple, but you get everyone involved creating this mystery. And that is the reality of what happened to his friend. So brilliant stuff, great writing, and a great way to deal with his grief. In this day and age of the last decade of grief horror, this does it in a way that we haven't really seen before. Yeah. You're able to tell that this is about grief without it being so like Together was like this metaphor that was so just banging you over the head about
hammer on the head, right?
Yeah, whereas this is not very sly on what it's about.
So it's very interesting, and especially I think it's a great commentary on society now. So all the kids disappear only from that one class, right? Nobody knows why, only that there is one child left and then the teacher, right?
Yep. Which they start getting hounded.
Which is weird because they all the kids they all ran away on the same date at the same time to 17, which is interesting because it's like 17 kids and only two people left, the teacher and Alex or whatever. Very weird. Yeah. But anyway, it becomes a witch hunt against Julia Garner because they can't explain what happened, and so they can only find one person to blame, her, so she's got to be behind it. And that is like in society now, that's like something happens, whether it's, you know, a natural disaster or there's a tragic shooting or something, and we all want to find the reason why, so we can point the finger and say, this is the reason why he was radicalized, right? Or turned into a weapon. Oh, that's why it's called Weapons. Fuck.
Ding, ding, ding.
Shit. Okay. So, but yeah, that's, and especially in our own personal lives, because we're so fixated on trying to explain something, it's to the exclusion of all the other people that are trying to shower us with love and help us move on from our grief, that we become weaponized because we're looking for that reason. But if there's one big takeaway from this, it's be careful what you wish for, because sometimes you're never going to find the reason why things happen. And if you can't move on beyond from that, and process that, you'll just be stuck in this circular loop.
This circular
anger
loop
and depression and alcohol and this and that or whatever. But again, going back to your point about the writing of it, and I know I shit on the narrative and the different chapters with each of the characters, but what's great is that each of the characters' stories, you really do kind of invest in them. Even
you do every single chapter.
Even the addict, you're kind of like, oh, the poor guy. But then he's like trying to sell things, and then he sees the reward, and then he sneaks in and realizes the kids are there, and he's like, I'd like 50,000. I'd like to show you.
That was so funny.
And I love how fucking crazy he is that he's like, well, can't you just show up with the money and I'll show you where they... That's not how that works, folks. Right? But he's like living, because he's an addict, he's living in the woods. And Abrams, first of all, Abrams was skinny to begin with. I don't know how many pounds he lost, but he looked very much the addict.
Yeah, he looked 100 pounds wet, like Christian Bale in The Machinist, skinny.
Yeah, kudos to him. But like, I love that Garner gets the big fat Chinese guy to battle, and then Brolin, you know,
this little tiny
Cable himself gets like, you know, $1.10. And
$1.10 at that. And he's just launched, throwing around like a sack of potatoes over and over again. And he's like, why won't you stop? He just keeps coming back.
Also, I have to laugh about something because so Alden Ehrenreich's character, his story is rather tragic because he's stuck in a dead-end marriage, I think. And his I guess wife is dead set on getting pregnant, and so every time she's like, I'm ovulating tonight, come home and fuck me, you know, this and that or whatever. Oh, by the way, you should go to a meeting because I don't want my baby daddy to be like an alcoholic or whatever. And he sort of rekindles a relationship. Well, not rekindles, he sleeps with Julia Garner because they were childhood friends or whatever. And what ends up happening is that not only does he break the sanctity of that marriage, but he sort of steps in it, STD wise, potentially, because while he's having this tension with his wife, he pulls over Austin Abrams, the addict, and who's trying to break in and like steal stuff to pawn for drugs. And he's like, okay, is there anything in your pockets that's going to stick me? And he puts gloves on, but he goes into the pocket and he gets stuck by these syringes.
By the needles.
So then he's like, oh, fuck. And then he runs to like the kit and he's like spraying
it. He punches him out first, like immediately. Bloody and goes,
yes. So police brutality. He punches him out. It's on camera. Right. And then I forget what happened, but he goes back to his chief and he tells him, and he's like, well, if the addict doesn't come to report it, then you're okay, right? So as he's leaving, he sees the addict coming because the addict has to report it to the police to get the $50,000. So then there's another chase where Alden's chasing him, but at the end of the film, in that sequence, he turns to Austin Abrams and he's like, do you have AIDS? Like, I just started laughing. Like, nobody asks anybody, do you have AIDS, right? I mean, because of HIV advances in like medicine and pills that we can take, nobody really has AIDS anymore. It's not widely broadcast like it was when you and I were growing up, right? Like that was my big fear. Oh, I'm gonna be a big slut in college. I'm gonna get AIDS and die, right?
Yeah.
Like, but he's like, "Do you have AIDS or whatever?" But then
I mean, it's that fear weaponizes. I mean, that fear that he got AIDS from getting stabbed.
Yeah.
Immediately weaponized him, and the first thing he did was knock him the fuck out.
Like to punch him out,
So
right?
fucking great.
I know. But then, so he gets pricked, and he doesn't even know if he has anything, and then he like, grudge fucks Julia Garner. That scene, I was like, oh God.
Yeah, after he got pricked in the finger, it's like, what the fuck, dude? Jesus.
Like, he's letting some tensions out. Like he was like, I was like, wow, Alden, come to my house and do that. But anyway, so he gets like stabbed in the face with like the syringes, and I was like, oh my God. So just to go back, there is a lot of face trauma in this movie. So when the parents are like zombified and they're getting their soul sucked away, like the aunt threatens the kid by saying, "Look, this is what I can do," and she shows him how to do the ritual, and then the parents start stabbing themselves in the face with a fork. Right, and then she's like, "I can make them eat you if you tell anybody about me or whatever." But like, oh my God, it's really really good. Zach Cregger he's fantastic. I can't wait to see what he does with Resident Evil. And just I don't know, you really do invest in the characters when you see their chapters. So at the end, when you realize who's been weaponized and who's left, it does become a like, oh my God, I don't really want them to die. But I have a question for you.
Yeah, go for it.
So the movie it's not clear, because we see the ritual through the whole thing. When she breaks the thing, in order to stop it, she has to throw it into a bowl of water, right?
Which is the blood off of it.
Yeah.
I think it's the blood that activates it. Her blood, and then whatever her intent. So I think it's your intent in your mind of what you want them to do at the time you prick. So your blood is kind of just leading that intention into that thing, and then you snap it.
Got it.
Some kind of ritual.
But the kid never rinsed.
No, he didn't, which is why they kept going and going. But when they finished, what he wanted them to do was kill Aunt Gladys, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And once they were done, they just stood there. I love that. They were done and they were just done. They just stood there around the freaking Aunt Gladys's trashed body, especially when they ripped that fucking face.
Oh my
and
God.
all the arms and the kids are just ripping flesh off, and it's just going crazy.
It was very Romero zombie banquet scene, I mean, oh my God. But so my question is did they just go back because they're just standing there, and when Brolin picks up his kid still has that blank. I mean,
remember the end.
The little girl does say that he starts talking again or whatever.
And most of the kids can't talk anymore. A few of them have started talking because, again, the message is that everybody getting thrown through this witch's fucking bullshit, they all are fucked over forever because of it. And I think that's what the end message was, is, as much as we want to get invested and involved in these mysteries of trauma, because my mom was killed by my stepfather when I was young, and I remember like, why did it happen? What really happened? And I remember asking his mother about it, and like what? And in the end, it was like he was angry, he was mad because his dad wasn't going to give him money or something, and pulled out a gun and it actually went off. He was trying to threaten his dad and it went off and hit my mom. But we were just so worried about that it kept me from the grief, right? So I was so like, why? Because I never saw it. Like, I knew he loved my mom. I could tell. Why did he shoot her? What the fuck? And so once that mystery was in the end solved, it didn't make anything easier for me. It didn't make it like better. It was just like, oh, well, my mom's still fucking dead. And that's, in the end, that's the message of the movie, is in the end, we get so wrapped up in these mysteries that keep us from grieving. And then in the end, all that did was string out our grief even longer than it should have been. So the message of this movie, really loud and proudly to me, is when something traumatic, whether it's your children running away, whether it's, alcoholism, death, suicide, whatever these traumatic things are that happen in our lives, we have to realize that we have the power. We have the ability to grieve. We don't need to get wrapped up in the whys. And I think that's what we do so much in life. We want to point fingers, like you said, right?
Yeah.
So we get wrapped up in the why so we can point fingers. But in the end, we have to grieve and we have to just stop pointing fingers and realize that person's gone and this is done and we have to move on. It is a great movie with a great tragic comedic ending that just pops.
Okay, I quit.
It's such a fucking good movie.
Now, it's your show now, Mike.
Well, you did tell me I had to. You did tell me I had to take the show up back from our friend Sammy. Just sat there and I just like a geek laughing the whole time he's going on.
So let me just tell you, I don't think I have anything further to add. That is exactly what the movie is about. Wow.
Yeah.
Kudos to you. That's great. That is amazing. I don't think there's anything left to say about this film other than the fact that like I said, everybody uniformly is just absolutely fantastic. The other scene I want to talk about is there's a fantastic moment of creeping dread where which also brought up this huge question. So Julia Garner is stalking Alex and she's asleep in her car and it's raining, and then we see the front door open and the mom comes out and she's got these scissors and she's coming out all like zombie like or whatever.
God, yes.
And there's this like stationary camera shot of her walking towards the car, right? And this is the question. Who sleeps in their car with it unlocked? Because the mom, you hear her open the back door and then like the scissor comes up in frame and cuts the hair off. We don't know why that's happening, but later we realize it's it's so that she can weaponize Julia Garner or whatever if she comes too close. But that scene, like, I wanted to hide under my chair. Like,
yeah, and it's mysterious because what is this character commit? First out, you see all the holes, which we don't know why they were there until afterwards because of the fork. The fork's going crazy on their face. And so you just see this woman with a whole bunch of freaking holes in her face with hair all strung out, looking like she's going to stab Garner. So there's just so much brilliance. And then when you realize, boom, future 30 minutes down the line, you're like, oh my God, okay, that's why that character was so scary.
The hair, yeah. And
so good.
And the other thing too is like I said, all of this has been tied together really thematically. And it was really beautiful how they tied everything together. I don't know, the whole thing is
wonderful
work of art. I think so. The movie was made for $38 million, including Cregger's writing and directing fee. I don't know if that's before P&A. Young listeners, P&A, promotion and advertising.
Promotion and advertising.
But I think it's gonna make between 45 and 50 million this weekend. So it's pretty budget back, which is crazy to me.
Yeah. Because word of mouth, again, people see this and they're just like, wow, what did I just see? And then the more you talk to friends about it, the more you realize you love it. That's why the show works.
Yeah.
The more we're talking about it, the more we're both like, oh my God, I didn't see that. Oh my gosh, I didn't see that. Wow, this movie is so good.
Why is it called Weapons?
You did some poo-poo, and I got to do a couple poo-poos before we go. First and foremost, it didn't need to be 2 hours and fucking 7 minutes long.
Okay. But nobody said to PTA, you need to make Magnolia.
I did. I did loud and clear.
That movie. I love.
You could tell that he was obsessed with that film. Cregger's, you could totally see he wanted to make his version. So yeah, it's so good. And the other thing is, the mystery in me is the cops are, I guess he has a thing where he doesn't like cops, I'm guessing, because they're all idiots. They should have figured out that this was Aunt Gladys all along before they put the fucking papers up all over. They should have been investigating her more. I'm sure it's probably linked to everything because it took them like 3 or 4 months to like officially state why Moore died. So I'm sure that probably has something to do with it. The cops are idiots and they're morons. There's no reason why at 30 days later, which when we're snapped to 30 days later, why nobody is suspecting this kid's house, which is covered in freaking papers. Of course, they think it's just because they were hounded by the press after everything.
Well,
but still,
to be sure, she did some witchery and she cleaned
there was
up so
some
the
witchy.
detectives could come in and look around, right? We should also mention that I'm just going to start calling them the Cregger players because Zach Cregger is married to the very beautiful Sarah Paxton. She shows up in
fun to
Harry
see her.
the Mom, and
Justin
Justin
Long.
Long shows up. He was also in Barbarian. I was like, "Where's Skarsgård? Where's Billy?" But anyway, the other thing I wanted to mention was when we see Benedict Wong running towards her with the same stance as the kids, that puts a new spin on things because you're like, oh shit, he's doing why is he doing what the kids did? Why?
That was the end, the way that ended Brolin's chapter too. I mean, as much as that did kind of bother you, I loved how that just kept you guessing and guessing and guessing.
Yeah.
And piecing it together in your mind. Oh man, what a fucking brilliant movie. Of course, people are going to be shitting on it because they're going to say it's getting overly hyped, this, that, and the other. But I don't think
No, it's
I
worth
think
the hype. Just like, and listen,
yeah.
here's the issue though. I don't think you can compare these two movies because I feel like Barbarian was really more about, like, I think he said he was inspired by The Gift of Fear, that book by whomever. And so that was really more about like pay attention to the signs in front of you and
Yep.
don't just like, walk through life trusting everybody and putting your trust in people.
Yes.
And this one has a different sort of bent to it. I don't think you can compare the two. But they're both incredibly strong. So I don't
Very
know
smart.
I don't know that one really trumps the other, right?
You were just talking about how it's hard to say which one is better because they are both really
totally.
fucking great. I mean, it's kind of like going back to Jordan Peele, like we like to compare his first two films. Most are going to say Get Out's better, but there are those that think Us is better, has a stronger thematic concept without being just a big, like Together was just a big moral story. So, I mean, in the end, I think that I honestly think this is showing him getting better as an overall filmmaker. I think that branching it out the way he did, making it so epic, kind of like PTA did at the time when after Boogie Nights, he had his free paycheck to kind of do whatever he wanted to do. And I feel like this was like Cregger's Magnolia. He got to finally do what he wanted to do and got a decent, I mean, for a horror movie, that's a decent budget. He got a great cast involved. Again, I think sometimes stars align.
I wanted to say that Brolin is fantastic in this. He is really good.
He is probably the best. I mean, again, every actor only probably is given 20 minutes on screen because there's so much so many actors and so much things going on, but there's no wasted time. Everybody takes their little 20 or 25 minutes and just gobbles it up. It's great, man.
I mean, I got to give kudos to Alden too. Like, he is just so magnetic, and I loved
That's a magnetic douche.
He's so great.
And his wife, we got to shout out June Diane Raphael. Like, she is only in one real scene besides being on The Voice. And her scene lets you know who that bitch is, and you kind of feel bad about her. When you see he pours that alcohol right on her fucking face in the liquor store. Like,
what to light her up. Yeah.
I know, what a fucking crazy bitch. And she's a great comedic actress. Again, being able to get these comedic actors and putting them in the right place.
But later she gets so menacing where she's like, "Oh, where have you been, honey? Where have you been?" I'm like, oh my God. No wonder why you hate fucked Julia Garner. Also, one last thing in terms of like the Cregger players, was that the house from Barbarian?
If it wasn't, it was the same neighborhood. It had to be. It was shot the same. It felt like the same area. I don't know if where was it shot? I know it's supposed to be Michigan, the first film.
It's Atlanta. They shot in Atlanta.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But like, I was like, Julia Garner's house looks like the Barbarian house. Like,
it did.
Setup.
The neighborhood all of it looked a lot like that same neighborhood.
But maybe that's just kind of a nod, like, oh, you want me to do Barbarian? I'll kind of give you Barbarian.
I mean, the structure, it's kind of like that graduation from going back to Tarantino, from Reservoir Dogs to Pulp Fiction. Both have that same narrative style, but one is much more epic in what it is, which this is much more epic. Again, he's following in the lines of these great directors. We keep talking about Pill and Tarantino. He's going to make a name for himself if he hasn't already. I mean, this is going to be a huge hit. Yeah, hopefully he doesn't turn into a Richard Kelly, who supposedly is going to make more movies. But bravo, Craigers, continue to do this kind of shit. Continue to shock us. Continue to make us scream, hoot, holler, laugh, feel all the feelings. You got to be able to follow your heart. I mean, he wrote this story, started making a story based off of his feelings that ends up being this great little fairy tale witch film that's so much more than that. And yet, it's just mind blowing how it's like we talk about Sinners. That's so many layers when you can take a great horror package and layer it and layer it and layer it. It just as a film fan and a fan of horror, it's fun to unpeel those layers and kind of get shocked. If you can't tell, I love this movie. Movie of the year.
So good.
Go see it. Hard, super hard watch. I mean, 28 dongs later, thick dick watch.
Yes.
Hard watch, baby. I love this fucking movie.
And Alden is in it. I was so happy to see Alden Ehrenreich. I had no idea he was in it. I was like,
it was great.
oh.
And every time, when Sarah Paxton popped up, I was like, oh, Aquamarine. I still think of her as Aquamarine all these years later because my daughter loved that movie when she was a little tiny thing.
Oh, yeah. All right, we got some pluses. Do you want to start?
Sure. I'll go ahead and start. So, I'm going to review a film again. So this is a film being released by a studio it's kind of controversial. And the reason why I'm plussing it is because it needs to be seen. So there's this film studio called Angel Studios. We kind of made jokes about it in this podcast in the past. They did King of Kings, which I joked about, bringing out all the grandmas and grandpas out to see this animated movie about Jesus from Charles Dickens.
They do faith movies, folks. They release faith movies.
They do more than faith. So basically, they do progressive. From what I understand, is they're leading towards a more progressive kind of Catholic or progressive Christian vibes. They did Cabrini, as well as they've done other more progressive stories. That even
the one with Jack Reacher and Hilary Swank. What was that one called? Ordinary Angels.
Yeah,
something like that.
So they're doing stuff that are not just faith-based, but they're doing films that people of faith or people who are more Christian-based can go see without fear of being offended, right? But so this comes to this film, which is Seth Worley's Sketch. Sketch is this great family film that unfortunately is being kind of misaligned by the Angel Studios. If you look it up, people are like, I don't want to see that. That's by Angel Studios, the same people that did the Ballard movie, the same people who are MAGA, this, that, and the other. But the reality is they didn't really make that movie either. They just picked it up at a festival. Same, exactly. Same as Sketch. Sketch was picked up I think it played at South by Southwest or Toronto or one of those film festivals, and it was picked up. While it's kind of a positive and a negative, like this company has money and they're willing to put a little movie like this Sketch about a little girl's drawings that come to life and almost like a Jurassic Park fun adventure, putting it into theaters where normally something like this wouldn't be in theaters. They've created a huge marketing. The movie's going to make probably 5 to 7 million this weekend when everything is said and done. They know how to market, and they've marketed this film to the point that my kid's like, let's go see this Sketch movie. And I'd heard about it. Jared Dennison saw it. It was one of the Seen Unseen movies or Regal Mystery movies.
Oh, okay.
And he said like half the audience walked out as soon as it said Angel Studios. And this is one that needs to be seen. Sketch, talking about, again, grief, talking about horror-esque films. This is a child's horror film, basically, for a family about a little girl. Her and her brother are dealing with grief. Their mom has passed away, and their dad is trying to keep it all together. We've seen this kind of story before. Little brother going out in the woods, dealing with his grief, finds this pool, a little lake that's shockingly kind of blue. And he ends up cutting himself and washes his hands off in the lake and comes up and his hand gets healed. And he's like, what the heck is going on?
Witchery.
Well, then it becomes kind of like Pet Sematary, right? He thinks I can take my mom's ashes, bring her back to life. Little sister is drawing in her journal that she uses to get all of her emotions out. her therapists are saying, you've got to use this book to get your emotions out. It's good to draw the bad things. It's good to draw a bunch of gory, scary monsters and get it out.
Yeah.
And I say this to people all the time. Loving horror doesn't mean you're an evil person. It just means that you've had trauma or you've dealt with shit in your life that horror can sometimes release and kind of help you deal with some of the real life awful shit going on, right?
Yeah.
So basically she follows him, her book falls into the water, and all those creatures come to life in kind of a Goosebumps sort of way. If you remember the Jack Black Goosebumps movie where all the Halloween decorations come to life, and all of her drawings come to life, and it is so sweet. It's so fun. It's got some good jumps for kids and people of all ages. Our audience was pretty packed because Utah, they love the Angel Studios movies, but it was a lot of fun to see in theaters. And I just want people to get over the fact that this is distributed by Angel. It doesn't mean that you're giving Tim Ballard money when seeing this. I've seen people say you're giving Tim Ballard money when you're seeing Angel. He has nothing to do with Angel Studios. My plus is if you have a family, especially, or if you have dealt with trauma and death in your life and you like monster movies, you can't really go bad by going and seeing Sketch. So yeah, definitely I recommend it for seeing with your family. Don't let the Angel Studios distribution keep you from seeing this in theaters. It's a blast, especially if you can get to a full theater. So go out and see Sketch if you get the chance. Once again, written and directed by Seth Worley.
Yeah, so this is apparently this is based on an earlier proof of concept film he did, a short film called Darker Colors. And Tony Hale, who was in this, he was on Veep, hysterical guy.
He's hilarious.
Hale has described this as a cross between Jurassic Park and Inside Out.
Pretty accurate.
A- cinema score. The Daily Beast called it Spielberg-esque. And
felt like an Amblin movie for sure.
Yeah, RogerEbert.com calls it a beautiful ode to that power in many forms and a reminder that it's never too late to work on your pain, not to let it overpower you, and to let the light inside you shine.
Get out there and see an independent film. It's just a sweet little film. Go see it. It's beautiful. Yeah. It's wonderful. Great stuff.
Awesome. Okay, so for my plus, I'm actually wearing it.
Oh, the Chucky shirt.
Oh, no,
you're
the headset.
Okay.
So
what's that number 4 that you've reviewed on the show in 3 years?
For 85. Yeah, I know. So I know that I look very Tomb Raider or Janet Jackson Rhythm Nation. Okay.
You anything sing in a concert? Gotta sing in this show. You gotta have one note of singing.
At least. So it's weird. This episode has been kind of a test for this. So what I'm wearing right now, this is called the OpenCom 2 by Shokz, Shokz. So that company first came to fame basically for its bone conduction. So you can see there's actually nothing inside my ear. All the sound comes from this. It's conducted through your bones, the bones surrounding your ears. So I have really bad, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's either tinnitus or tinnitus or teeny tits. So my man boobs. So these are bone conduction headphones. This is a boom mic which extends. This has basically been a test for this episode because I normally record using a Blue Yeti microphone. I have been recording on this basically.
Sounds great.
Just this. So the OpenCom 2, what's great about this is it's actually an upgrade. So my coworker, Lisa, is like, you just buy earpods and headphones like left and right, okay? So she's probably going to kill me. She's like my work mom in a way. She's going to kill me because I do have one of these at work, but the 2025 upgrade not only includes a little dongle that you can just plug right into your laptop or your computer, and it's automatically the speaker and the microphone for your computer, but the upgrade allows you multi-point pairing. So now I can wear this at work and it fits. It feels very, very lightweight. It does. You would think it would be sweaty on your like temples or whatever. It's not. And it plays well with glasses, which I hate earpods that go over your ear that are open ear that don't play well with the glasses. But I can now double pair to my personal phone as well as the work phone, so I can listen. And then if a work call comes in, I just press the button and I can have my calls. And no one has complained about it. Sometimes I use like an open, so Shox made the open bud ones that I had used.
Yeah.
For whatever reasons, people complain about the fact that they can't hear me on those, but I never get complaints with this. It is super fucking pricey, kids. It's $199.95. But it's Zoom certified. Again, it comes with that dongle, multi-point pairing. It's fantastic. It feels lightweight. You can use it in the car or whatever. It's great. So the Shox OpenComm 2, this is actually a premium product of theirs. Their other communication headset kind of looks like this, but it has more cushions for the head. And a sort of bigger bone conduction like piece, but it also comes with a dongle and multi-point pairing. So that's my plus. Go for it.
Yeah, look,
Yeah.
and when you were touching it, you couldn't hear any like popping or which normally you can when you touch any mic.
Yeah,
Where
I know,
you're sitting
right?
and touching that, I couldn't even hear anything. So those are pretty cool.
Nice. And this will be a reminder to not take this to the bathroom.
I don't want to hear what's going on in there.
So,
Speaking of little streamers,
whoa. You know what? He's never going to let me live that down. I
know, the little streamer joke.
I had mentioned like, oh, Nick Holt was in this like little streaming film called Juror Number 2, directed by Clint Eastwood.
This little streamer. Yeah, that was quite funny.
Amazing. Okay, so if you love us, you will certainly love our Podfathers. Sammy has been on our show now twice. Gentleman's Guide to Midnight Cinema. I think he and his son want to come on for him, which we were talking about Jordan Peele. It's produced by Jordan Peele, but it's not directed by Jordan Peele. But Jordan Peele's Monkey Paw Productions has produced the Candyman reboot and then Monkey Man, which I did not like, but I know some people are a fan of it. Actually rescued it from streaming hell, basically helped to distribute the film. And then if you also love our other fathers, Troy and Brad over at Not a Bomb. We're going to get them on the show sooner or later. I don't know.
We need to.
Gosh, we're going to. You also love the Night of the Living podcast, Wild Dream podcast, Death by DVD, Raiders of the Podcast. We already mentioned Tyler the Hunk. Netflix Cinema podcast with Zoe. And now for something a little bit different, the Fat City episode that I guested on with John Horgan. That is out now. Fat City starring Stacy Keach and a very young Jeff Bridges. He wears these short shorts. I swear to God, there was going to be a ball slip. But it's from the 70s. What can you do, right? Yeah. And then Caliber 9 from Outer Space, Feminine Critique, Talk Without Rhythm with Goro. Mike, parting thoughts.
Enjoy the last bits of summer. Go out there, see live music, spend time with your family, and get out to the movies and enjoy yourself.
Fondle those last bits of summer, folks.
Fondle them.
And as always, please be open, be kind, be vulnerable. That is where the art is. Speaking of art, what are we reviewing next week?
Next week, I believe, is Nobody 2. I think is probably what we're going to do.
Oh, yay. I just rewatched Catwoman with Sharon Stone.
So we get to see her as a villain again.
I know. I can't wait. It's going to be great.